Okay, so before this video starts, everyone please leave me a question down in the comments section below. I do plan to film a Q&A. In fact, I actually made a community post about it, as well as putting something up on my Instagram stories, and just nobody asked. Like, well, okay, not nobody, but people did ask questions, but I just don't have enough to make a video out of it, so I'm looking for more questions. Please leave them in the comments below. I will pick out my favorites, or just answer them all, depending on, you know, how many people and how long it would take to answer all of them, but please do that. Also, make sure to stick to the end. I do have a few announcements in terms of what's going on with my life, what's going on with my channel, and I do have a few thank yous to give out, so again, please stick to the end for that. Some of the stuff is really interesting, I guarantee it. But with that out of the way, hello everybody, I am not dead yet, and today I want to talk about optimization and how optimization could, in fact, yes, be killing your gains. Because I noticed that, like, here on YouTube Fitness, there's a lot of emphasis on how to train optimally. Not just train properly, which is important, but also train optimally, how to get the most out of your training. And, well, that's all well and good, because I do believe that a lot of these fitness influencers genuinely want to help people. They want to help people better their training, get stronger, and do whatever they need to do. But I found that we don't talk a lot, or at least enough, in my opinion, about the fact that, like, optimization is a luxury, in some cases. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that you should be doing everything sloppy and stupid, and there are fitness influencers that go like, okay, well, it doesn't matter if, you know, the tricep extension with the cable is more optimal than tricep extension over the head or whatever. If you like tricep extension over the head, then do that, like, do what you enjoy. But I find that no one's really touched upon the, what if I can't necessarily be optimal with my workouts, and I find that that concentration on optimizing everything not only leads to paralysis by analysis, but also a sort of gripping anxiety when it comes to training, or at least it did for me. Now, to put some things into perspective, I recently got a job. Woohoo! That is great. For those of you that watched my other video, you knew that I was looking for one. I am now currently working at 9 rounds. For those of you that have followed me on Instagram, it's a different 9 rounds. But anyway, it's a great job, like, great place. I love working there. Great atmosphere, great people, the best job you've ever seen. But the issue is still time. It takes up time, and that's not even a lot of time. My shifts are relatively short, part-time hours, because you necessitate it in a job like that. However, it still kind of messes with the flow of my schedule, messes with the flow of my training. I've had to reorganize various things. It used to be run, weights, boxing, and lately it's been run, boxing, weights, or run, wait a little bit, boxing, weights, or run, do some weights here, some weights there, boxing, and it's been a lot of mixing up. And I found at the beginning of all this, when I first started this job, I had a lot of worry about that, like, how will this affect everything, even in terms of recovery and fatigue, like what happens if I stay up later because I need to keep training, or how will adding in, you know, 3 hours of being on my feet coaching somebody, how will that affect my fatigue levels and stuff. And I realized as I go along, a lot of that was needless anxiety. Like, and this is coming from somebody who wants to be a professional athlete. Like, first of all, it's one of the reasons why I train full body every day. Like, and a lot of people, when it comes to my lifting anyway, like, I do not train optimally for muscle or strength gain, but I'm just looking to kind of build up my body and be relatively strong because I need it for the boxing. I do full body every day for 2 main reasons. One, if I miss a day, it's no big deal. It's not like skipping leg day. I'm not actually atrophying a specific part of my body. It's just my whole body, you would say, recovers, or my whole body misses one day. So it's not like one part of my body will get more advanced than the other. But 2, I structured full body so that I can move around exercises as need be. Like, would it be better for me or optimal for me to do the exercises in the same order that I usually do it, that being chest, back, legs, shoulders, bicep, tricep, abs? I usually superset too. But would that be optimal or ideal? Yeah, but the sad fact of the matter is we don't live in an ideal world, or at least I don't. So, but is it really going to affect my training that much if, oh, I've got an extra hour, I'm gonna bang out my biceps, triceps, and ab workout, and then when I have an hour and a half later on in the day, I'm gonna do chest, back, legs, and shoulders? Like, no, not really. And for me, I found that I was like constantly worrying about a lot of things that are rather superfluous and unimportant. And as I've continued to work this job, and again, I'm only in my second week, so these things very well may change. 1 second. Hi, it's late. I want to go to bed. Sorry if the audio isn't on par with the rest of the video. My Yeti microphone just doesn't seem to be picking up audio now. Every single piece of technology I have seems to have just quit out on me this week, which leads me to why I'm actually here. The clip that was originally supposed to be here got deleted, and I, for the life of me, could not recover it. So I'm just going to give you a little bit of context for the next clip, but it's that in the time leading up to my next sparring session, after working a couple days, I was actually quite tired and sore. I had worked a bunch of muscles that I just hadn't worked in a while, and I was quite anxious about how that would affect my sparring. Would that have a negative effect, or would it even not have an effect at all? I wasn't sure. And so I came into that sparring session kind of worried that in adding in extra biking and obviously the 3 to 5 hours of work on my feet, coaching people, doing hand pads, etc., would have a negative effect on my performance when I sparred. And in fact, it was the exact opposite. I actually did really good that sparring session, and then actually it was one of my better ones. Now, could it be argued that I would have done just as good, if not better, had I been rested? Potentially, but honestly speaking, I don't know, because the week prior, I walked into the gym feeling really good, and I got the shit beat out of me because I was just exhausted that week. Like, it was just whatever. So the ultimate thing is that I realized that and they do say this, but it's something that, for me at least, didn't really register until I was forced to confront it. Consistency is, above all, everything. And sure, like, will you make marginally more progress if you're a lot more structured? Yeah. But if you enter a turbulent time in your life, don't spend all of your time stressing out about whether or not this is perfect for your growth. Just continue to do what you can, push, and make it work. And sometimes you're gonna have to make adjustments. Maybe you'll have to find ways to be more efficient, or maybe you'll have to switch up your program from what you're doing to something that just better suits the situation you're in. But I think even in doing that, being forced to switch things up and adapt on the fly is actually better for you than sticking to a quote-unquote optimized program, because I think it teaches you that, well, one, life is just simply unpredictable. We can't continue to be in the same old routine, the same patterns day in and day out. Eventually things are going to show up and throw a wrench in your plans. And I think being able to adapt and having that adaptability is more optimal and will be better for your training, your gains, your mental, and everything else in the long run than focusing so hard on optimization. It is, in my opinion, paralysis by analysis. And I think to a certain extent, even me, somebody who knows a lot about training and is really comfortable in what he's done, has probably been hesitant to do certain things because of how it would affect my training. But again, it's like sometimes you need to be pushed into that unknown. Even for someone like me who likes to spend a lot of his time being uncomfortable and being in the unknown, I think that focusing so much on optimization and worrying about what is best can sometimes just take away from doing it. There's an old saying that I do my best to live by, and I do say do my best because we're all human, and it's very easy to get swept up in life and forget certain things. We're all hypocrites to an extent, but it is better to hack and slash your way through life with a dull sword than to forever remain in one place, continuously sharpening your blade. And I think, to me, that's the epitome of optimization versus just get out there and train. And that's the thing. Like, I was always shut up and train, right? Just do it. But I remember, and like, I was never going to not do something because it would cut into my training, especially if it's something as important as like school or getting a job. But I remember being just so anxious and like, will I be able to do this? I mean, you saw it in the I may be quitting YouTube video. Like, you can see the anxiety and the fear in that. And I think a lot of the anxiety from that stemmed from the, like, well, one, will I have the time to continue training the way I do? And two, how optimal will it be? How much will I be losing out? And in my opinion, I'm not losing out all that much. In fact, I'm gaining. There's a lot of opportunities that I have acquired through the people I've met at my new job, and my TDEE has gone up, and there's different exercises I can try, right? And I think that this can be used as a microcosm for life. You know, I recently had a conversation with Josh, the Iron Musket, and he talked to me about how one of the things that was bothering him, and that was kind of getting him, I don't know if it's anxious is the right word, or depressed, I'm not sure if those are the right word, but he was getting in his own head about his own content, because he would spend so much time editing Will's content, and he would see just how much effort goes into it, with all the different angles, and the cameraman, and the lighting, and the expensive equipment, and everything else, and it was like, well, what am I doing with my content? Like, it's just me sitting in my room talking to my camera, or whenever I do a challenge video, it's like, I don't have all this fancy edits and everything, and all the camera movement and everything like that. It's just, you know, me with a tripod, maybe a couple of my friends to help me film, you know, and honestly speaking, like, I've experienced that with YouTube as well. Like, when Josh put out his video talking about what he does to edit Will's videos, I was like, oh my god, I'll never be able to do that. Like, it's just, I don't have the time, I don't have the skills, and I just can't invest that much into it, right? And what I told him was, first, like, you gotta realize that Will Tennyson is, like, way down the road from any of us, and he's got more resources to spend on this. But ultimately, when I feel that way, when I start to get in my own head, whether it be for anything really, including filming videos, by the way, because, like, there are times where I want my videos to be as good as possible. Excuse me. I want my videos to be as good as possible, and I want my message to be as coherent as possible. And sometimes I start thinking, I don't script my videos, but I do get an idea of what I want to say in my head, and so when in doing that, it's very easy for me to continuously replay what I'm going to say in my head and get stuck before I even turn on the camera with this idea of what I want my video to be. Same thing with Josh, and I'm sure same thing with a lot of other YouTubers. And again, it's the same thing when I saw the editing thing. Like, what am I going to do with my videos? The answer for me is always just put it out. And it's the same thing when I was like writing essays in university, or again, like in this situation here with the training, just do it, because you become more productive. Do it, just getting on the road and just starting to drive than you are ever just sitting there reading a book about driving. And this could be anything. I remember talking to somebody years ago where he was like, I used to read a ton of books on, like, how to approach people and how to be charismatic and talk to people, but ironically speaking, I spent all my time reading those books instead of actually talking to people. Like, experience is the best way to learn. And sure, like, you can, you know, if you have the time, energy, resources, and you care enough, you can invest in those other things, like optimizing whatever, maybe it's writing a script, maybe it's, you know, spending more time on your editing, maybe it's optimizing your program. But I figure at the end of the day, one of the best ways to just kill that anxiety of what if or what's going to happen is to just get out there and say, I'm going to do this, and adapt as need be. It forces you to just take initiative and develop the skills necessary to continue to survive. That's how I do things, even in fighting, right? Like, let's take boxing. Like, you can spend all your time studying your opponent and coming up with this great game plan, but everybody has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. So sure, get an idea of what your game plan's gonna be, but be ready to change it like that the second your opponent switches things up. What if I think my opponent's an outboxer, right? So I say, okay, I'm going to slowly make my way in, and then as soon as that bell rings, he bum rushes me. Well, what am I going to do? I got to change things up. And I think that's ultimately the message I want people to take away from this video, is that, especially in the online fitness space, we spend a lot of time worrying about, is this optimal? Is this good? And then, you know, what exercise is this? What exercise is that? And I think that instead of pushing that, as much as we do, or we can continue to push as much as we do, but I think that we should also just simply push the get out there and do it. Just start, because and don't be scared of the unknown. Be willing to adapt to it. At least that's kind of what I do, because even with this video, you know, Skybox Designs, going into the announcement parts of my video, is going to be somebody who's going to help me edit videos, and he will be able to see just how much stuff is going on around me and how much, you know, I need to adapt, and that's okay. You know, it's okay to do all that. Anyway, I hope this video made a lot of sense, but yes, Skybox Designs will be editing most of my long-form videos from here on out. I will be announcing them every time he does, and you will be able to find him in my description box. Go check him out. He does graphic design, so if you need anything involving graphic design, he did my channel banner, Mina Ayub's channel banner, as well as Back Guy's channel banner. So again, go check him out. He is great. I would also like to thank my newest $5 Patreon supporter, Philip Cummings, aka The 10 Cent Story. Go check him out on YouTube. He posts comic book stuff and memes that he finds funny. I really do enjoy his stuff. And again, thank you very much. He ended up donating over $100 to me as a donation and then joining my Patreon. So again, like, I would not be able to do what I do without the kindness of those around me, the kindness of strangers, and the willingness of my audience to help me out in a pinch. It really did surprise me after putting out that video. I didn't think I would get the support that I did, and it's really been incredible. So thank you very much for all of your patience with me and all of your support. I cannot express how unexpected it was and how truly humbled and grateful I am. But speaking of thankful, humble, and grateful, thank you to all of my Patreon supporters. You guys mean the world to me, as I've previously stated, but there is one more thank you I have to give out before this video ends, and this is kind of the craziest thank you story that I have, because Josh recently sent me a few tubs of protein.
What the fuck, man? I don't...
Yeah, he sent me damn near 20 pounds of HTLT protein, and he lied to me about it. He's like, oh yeah, I'm just sending you like 1 or 2 tubs, like maybe 3. It's just some stuff I'm not really interested in. You know, I'm not a big fan of the whey casein stuff, so I put them all in a big Ziploc bag and sent them off to you. And I'm like, okay, great. And I get this massive package in the mail, and I'm bringing it in. I'm like, wow, like this is a big box for like 3 things of protein. He must have some really big Ziploc bag. Never put 2 and 2 together because I'm an idiot. But yeah, so I have a ton of HTLT protein. Like I got this, whatever this one is, vanilla, s'mores, cheesecake, and maple cookie. So I've got damn near every flavor of HTLT you can have, and this brings me back to that Q&A that I was planning on doing, because I'm going to be trying all these flavors and ranking them as my best to worst, because I think that would be fun, and I will be answering your questions in that video as well. So if you have any questions, again, reminder, leave them in the description box, in the comment section down below, and I will do my best to answer them for the next video. But I honestly think that is it. Hopefully this video made sense. I am going to work very soon, so I'm trying to film this as quickly as possible. But until the next time, please remember, only the strong subscribe. I am not dead yet, and if you are not either, there is always a tomorrow waiting for you. That tomorrow is pretty unknown, as, you know, everything is. Don't be scared of it. Embrace it. Bring out your dull sword and start hacking and slashing.